my thought is that by the end of next offseason, so the start of training camp in 2026, the Texans will only have one of their two generational star players under contract between CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. And I think it's going to be Will Anderson, and I don't think it's going to be Stroud. I think Stroud's contract is going to take longer than, and I think Will Anderson will sign early. Do you think that's a crazy
you think
prediction?
Will Anderson signs next offseason and then CJ is the offseason after that?
That would take Stroud to
27. To
27.
his fifth
Yeah.
year option.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah. Yeah, because then they would have to make the decision on his fifth year option in 26. And then 27 would be like his actual walk year.
Yeah. Right now, Stroud has the 25 season and the 26 season
And then
left on the
fifth year
rookie
option would be
contract
27.
plus the club option.
The club option.
But there's no doubt, right, that Nick Caserio and the Texans are having to plan for this massive chunk of money that's going to be delivered at some point.
Yeah, and they've already been aggressive in like re-signing Derek Stingley, so they've shown they'll do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they did Derek Stingley before. Yeah. I mean, they did it like really early, like not even like waiting till like the summer of his fourth year. They did it like at the beginning of his fourth, right after the end of his third year. So, are you saying there'll be doubt on CJ then?
I'm thinking that CJ's going to take longer. I think CJ might end up becoming more.
Is that going to be because of his play?
Well, here's the thing, right? If this year goes similar to last year, right, where there's good moments, but you're like, okay, is it the offense? Is it the line? What's going on? We now get into that territory where he's not just an obvious, okay, this guy's coming up, he's going to reset the market.
This is going to hurt. Now we start. Don't make it hurt too much.
Right. There's that, right? Because when Burrow came up, right? No doubt. Yeah. Okay. And Trevor Lawrence, which like I think people are still kind of questioning whether he deserved that automatic leapfrog status, but he got it. And some of these other guys are going to get it. But let's say the Texans win like 9 or 10 games this year and Stroud is just kind of static going into this next season, I feel like now it's a fork in the road situation where you go, okay, he would need to perform one way to be the automatic leapfrog guy. He would perform another way, and then you start to become the Brock Purdy. Do we slot him in between a few guys, and he's a high-end contract? But then that gets complicated because we have to say, okay, we don't value you in this way, but we value a little less, and then I think some feelings get hurt and get complex in there. So I don't know. I think that could happen just because we had the high rise, we had the great rookie season. Now we have the second season where we're a little bit back down to earth, and now this third season with a new coordinator, Nick Haley, who's supposed to be fabulous and really good. Now we're on that kind of teeter-totter seesaw kind of moment for him, I think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think part of like the criticism of CJ last year, and he wasn't as good, but I think the bar was so outrageously high after his rookie year.
That too.
He was so good his rookie year that any sort of step back was going to be scrutinized, which it was. And I think here's what's interesting to me is like and I think this is why you're right about Will Anderson. Like I think Will Anderson goes and has 12 to 15 sacks this year, and
right because he's DeMeco Ryans' best defensive player. He's going to knock it out of the park, and they're going to want to sign him early before Micah Parsons gets done, right?
Well, they're not going to.
That makes sense.
Micah's going to get done this summer, I think. So if Micah gets done this summer, then I'm assuming Micah's contract, the average per year is going to start with a 4. So then you got Micah and Myles Garrett above in the 40s, and now like so the mark is sort of set. So do you view Will Anderson that way, one way or the other? Like I think Will Anderson, because the person he is, because the player he is, because the way the defense is played, that's going to be a no-brainer. So I agree with you that they're going to move aggressively on Will Anderson if he has the year that we all think he's going to have, the same way they moved on Stingley. Stroud, to me, I think what's really interesting, this is where they're going to get some answers on him, is part of the reason they traded Laramie Tunsil was because of the culture in the offensive line room. The culture in the offensive line room affect the overall culture of the offense. And they feel like the culture on defense is exactly where they want it to be, right? And they've got obviously some high-end cornerstones that are really young and still rising in Anderson and Stingley. They've got other pieces like Danielle Hunter and Jalen Petrie. Like they've got young players in the secondary. Like like that defense is like the culture is what D'Amico Ryans was looking to build when he got there 2 years ago. The group is still ascending. It's top 5 defense. Right. They're looking to match the culture they've built on defense, on offense. And that was sort of what prompted the Laramie Tunsil trade. Not that he was a bad guy, but it was more, what can we do to flip the culture in the offensive line room, which will affect the overall culture of the offense. And look, like they're younger on offense now too. Like, so, like they walk away from Stephon Diggs. We'll see what they get out of Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, but like they got 2 rookie receivers that are going to be in the mix now alongside Nico Collins and Christian Kirk. I think there's going to be, and then you got tackles who aren't younger, but I don't think like Trent Brown or Cam Robinson are going to be like guys that are going to push the new culture there. You get the rookie from Minnesota too. So CJ is going to have to be a big part of trying to replicate what they've already established on defense and offense. And if he can do that, then I think they are aggressive in moving to re-sign him. If it looks like they're sort of treading water, then that could be a problem. And Nick Caley's obviously going to be a huge part of that too. And if CJ has more success individually, well, then that's going to position him to really affect change across the board. And then take the bull by the horns and roll with it, because that's the path to me, where it's like, okay, like he's going to be in the 60s and he's going to do a deal next year. We'll see if it happens or not,
Yeah. But I think it's more likely, and this isn't
it's kind of crazy that we're talking about it this way, because he's won 2 division titles. And I know it's in the South, AFC South, but I don't know. Great rookie year, a little bit of a step back in his second year. But if you reverse those years,
if you reverse those years, and you're totally right, and I think that it exposes a little bit of the unfairness of it, right? Where if you reverse the years, yes, if you got him a right guard or a left guard or whatever it was, like I think we're talking about a different team next year. We're probably still talking about Bobby Slowick being the offensive coordinator, if I'm being honest, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's one of those things where there's a lot there, but now Houston gets to see how much of it was really what was blamed on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And a lot should have been blamed on the offensive line, for sure. 100%. Yep. But now, how does the quarterback overcome? How does the quarterback look in the new offense? How does he take to the new offense? And I think it's more likely that after year 1 in a new offense, Houston's still kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Versus Will, where he's going to be in year 3 of D'Amico's defense and could have like 15 sacks this year, right? It's just one of those things where Will is probably more likely to just be a guy that's like, okay, this is easy. Let's just get the deal done, right? And there's no nuance to it. But that said, I am a little bit perpetually probably unfair to CJ Stroud. But I think it's an interesting spot. That's what I'll say.